Well, the pullback is expected on TRVL. Bitcoin is correcting, and yesterday we had a really nice launch, soft launch of the tokenomics proposals, and we had a really nice injection of volume. Okay, on MEX it went all the way up to 10 cents. Now on MEX we're back down to 8.8 cents. So there's a little bit of selling now, and all of this selling that you can see here, you see this volume, this is just Bitcoin. Yeah, this is just people not really knowing about understanding Bitcoin. They think Bitcoin now is going to go to 12,000 or something, and they're panicking and they're just dumping their positions at market. Okay, actually when Bitcoin corrects, you just have to go shopping. Like, it's the opportunity to buy alts when Bitcoin corrects. Like, this is not the time to sell alts, this is the time to buy altcoins. Okay, and that's what people don't quite necessarily understand right now. If people are interested in altcoins, have a look through all these altcoins. If you see any that are on big discount, you can start picking them up, you can start scaling in. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them on discount right now. 10% less, 11% less. Look at that. You just go through the list. 10% less. You're getting it at a discount. Okay, because the bull run hasn't even begun yet. Like, we haven't really got there. Like, the craziness hasn't begun yet. So this is an opportunity to look at places to buy altcoins. And when I'm looking at all these reds, look at all these red, minus 10%, minus WLD minus 17%, TIA minus 10%. And then you look at TRVL, minus 3%, minus 5%. I think TRVL has held up really nicely, to be honest, to be fair. I think to their credit, to the Dtravel team's credit, that was an amazing launch. Right, timed it really well because it prevented TRVL from crashing. Fine, that's fine. I was okay with that. You know, like, that's what you want to see. You want to see strength when Bitcoin is weak, and we're seeing that. We're seeing strength. If this is how it looks like when Bitcoin is correcting, I'm okay with that. Okay, I think everyone is. Now, the other thing to note is that there's a divergence in the values on these exchanges. You see on Bybit, it's slightly higher than MEX. It's very, I mean, it's like it's 3% less on Bybit on MEX than on Bybit. So if anyone is interested, you can sell a little bit on Bybit, and you can go on to send it across to MEX and buy it on MEX, and you can arbitrage that. I mean, you can do that on KuCoin as well. Look, KuCoin is a bit less as well. All that's telling me is that is just that the liquidity is there's not much limit orders, so people, when their market selling, the price slips down, so it's very easy to arbitrage that. You can just easily, like, on small amounts, you can make 3% right now just by selling on Bybit and making buying on MEX. See, Marve's asking, aren't they in the golden pocket yet? Aren't they? Who? You mean Bitcoin? So anyway, we had a really strong push up yesterday. Very bullish. Look at all this volume. Green, green, green. Getting a little bit of pullback. Look at this green, green, green volume. Green, look at this big, strong green. So we need an increase in volume, and the increase in volume is coming. We just have to see what happens with Bitcoin right now. And at the moment, like, for me, Bybit is the best chart, the cleanest chart. And all that's happening now is that we're just coming back to fill the volume gap, find a little bit of support potentially there, and then see what happens. Do we just range here for continuation? I think that's possible. You're seeing similar things on KuCoin and on Gate. MEX is a little bit messy, probably because it's illiquid, but you've got something going on there. And actually, I think there's quite a lot of interest in picking up more TRVL. So even though some people are like panic selling, effectively that's all it is, panic selling because of Bitcoin. The reality is that we're basically above 9 cents or at 9 cents, which is the launch price. So anyone who's picking the token up now is picking it up at pre-launch price, which is 9 cents. There was no way that we were going to get through this level easily. So all that we're seeing now is a little bit of exchange of hands. And this could continue for a little bit until Bitcoin finally finds some kind of bounce, from some kind of support. And I think that's what, when that happens, then this is probably, I would imagine that this is going to continue. That's what I'm thinking right now. Is it overextended? I don't think it's overextended. It looks overextended, but I'm still kind of looking at this Adam and Eve pattern. Yeah, I'm still thinking about the Adam and Eve pattern. This one. I think it looks very nice. It's looking, for me, it's looking really nice. And this is the monthly time frame. We are coming to the neckline. And the thing to note is that even if this pattern fails for whatever reason, no one can predict the future, yeah, then you'll just end up forming an inverse head and shoulders, which is still bullish, yeah. So if for some reason we can't get past this neckline, yeah, which is here, and this pattern fails, then let's just say, for the sake of argument, we have a prolonged consolidation down here. Then the only thing you're creating is you're going from an Adam and Eve pattern to an inverse head and shoulders, which is also extremely bullish at the lows on this higher time frame. So everything that I'm seeing is bullish. I'm not seeing anything bearish right now on TRVL, and I don't think this is a problem. This green candle on the monthly time frame, simply because of this previous green candle where the wick went up. That's why I don't think it's overextended. So it would be very different if we didn't have this candle here. If that candle wasn't there, then potentially you'd be thinking about a correction first. But actually, because we have that candle there already, now what I'm thinking to myself is what we need to do is now we need to push up, get above that 382, and just keep on going, really. Just let's go, let's fly. And I think that'll probably happen when Bitcoin finally settles down. And so when Bitcoin is like this, it's not fun for the altcoins. But once Bitcoin just starts getting boring, trust me, people are just going to get bored of Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin finds support, settles down, gets really boring, just starts going sideways, then all of the interest is going to go back to the altcoins. And I'm thinking that, I mean, TRVL, I'm hoping that TRVL continues. Yeah, I am seeing continuation, but obviously on MEX we're having a quite high volume on this red day today. It's like 1 million sell, but 1 million sell equals 1 million. I mean, it's volume, so maybe half of that selling, half of that buying, but that's people buying too. So even though people are selling for whatever reason, you also have people buying, and that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see the volume increase as we continue going upwards. That's what you want to see. The 3-day chart, the 3-day candles closed today, and they're looking quite bullish. All of the 3-day candles are looking bullish. And so people who are familiar with the way I analyze, I always kind of look at the higher time frame candles, and for me they're looking quite bullish. I'm not seeing bearish candles. And then the other thing to note, I've got this previous monthly level marked out, And so actually we are into resistance. So it's normal for the price to react into some kind of higher time frame level there. It's very normal for that to happen. And it's also very normal for us to consolidate, which is effectively what we're doing. We're consolidating underneath resistance. Yeah. What is the resistance? Well, the resistance is the 9 cents mark. It's this 382. It's that monthly level. And potentially it's also this previous range here. There's a little bit of a range here. So if I do a little bit of a range pull, it's a little bit of a range here. You see that? And we're kind of just trying to get into that range. Yeah, we tried once before here and failed. And then potentially you could say we tried again. There was a second attempt here. See that? Now we're trying again. We're just trying to get back into that range. And so the price is just consolidating now. Eventually it will get back into that range because that's the trend. The trend is up. People are buying. There's higher lows. There's a lot of interest in this token, and it's quite interesting because yesterday when the tokenomics update was released, I was in the pub with my friend Dan. He came to the Gates London event in last October, and I've been telling him since he's my friend. I've been telling him since 2 cents to buy. I've been telling him forever to buy TRVL since last year, whenever. I've been telling him buy TRVL, and then especially at 2 cents. And then yesterday the tokenomics was launched, and he's in the pub and he just said, "Oh God, his price is going up," and he FOMO'd and he bought he increased his portfolio by 10% yesterday in front of me. He asked me, is it a good time to buy it? I said, it's always a good time to buy TRVL because he's been waiting for the pullback. Potentially, you could argue he should have been waiting for today, for the next day. But this is what, as the price goes up, you're going to get people FOMO more and more. And they're going to FOMO more and more. Now, for him, it wasn't a big deal because he only increased his portfolio by 10%. And he was just looking, and that's the thing, people are looking at their portfolio. They're not necessarily looking at the fiat value because they're looking at the higher time frame. And so for him, it was a big deal to increase his supply at 10%. And also he was telling me that he's getting a big bonus next month, and he's hoping that the price, if there is a pullback, he's hoping that he'll be able to pick up more TRVL. He was telling me that. When I do a range pull on KuCoin, you can see that the price is above the overall range value area now. You see that? So that's actually quite a bullish development. That's kind of what you want to see. We're almost kind of we're kind of trapped between the value area high and this previous kind of this mini range here. We're a little bit trapped here in a kind of no man's land, trying to get back into the higher levels, higher prices. And let me just quickly do a volume range pull on. I'll get rid of these now. Let me just do it on all of them. Probably have them actually. Do need to clean up my charts. I won't do it now. Let me just do it on all of them. So gate is much higher, the value area, but you can see on gate we're starting to put volume in at this level. Let me just change that. We're at a little bit of a high volume node on gate here. So naturally there's going to be a little bit of resistance. Once you get through that, the volume drops. I said that there's a little bit of trap liquidity on gate, but actually most of the trap liquidity was in the lows of this whole block. You can see that there's a little bit up there at about 17 cents. But the volume area, the value area is still, the value area high is still at 17 cents. Let me just quickly have a look at MEX, do the same thing on MEX. Marve is saying some things. Oh, you're talking about Bitcoin. We'll talk about Bitcoin again in a second. Let me just do this. This is MEX. So you can see on MEX, we've cleared the volume area, the value area, and the 236 at 5.5 cents was the value area high. I've said this in the past, if the price were to come back down to 5.5 or 6 cents, that would be a gift for everyone. So even though now we're trying to get back into the higher range, and the higher range is above 9 cents, effectively this is what you want to see. You want to see liquidity be taken from the higher prices, and then the price will find it easier to go through these resistance levels. And we're kind of at the borderline now. You know, I didn't expect us to go through 9 cents so easily, but the fact that volume is coming in and people are interested in this token now is a really good sign. I'll do exactly the same thing on Bybit, just because everyone uses different. Yeah, see on Bybit now we're into. So whereas KuCoin we've left the volume area, on Bybit we're into the volume area, the value area high. Sorry. See that? But it's a really, this is the moment of glory for all of us. And I think if and when we do kind of break this, we're going to be flying. Really, I really do believe that. I think it makes sense. This is a really critical level. It's a very powerful historic horizontal level now. Previously it was much lower down at the 236, and look what happened when we broke that 236. Yeah, you see the 236. Now it took a while to get through the 236. Can you see it took how many attempts? 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts. It took 4 attempts to get through the 236 in this kind of range. And as soon as we can break through this level, this kind of 9 cents mark, and right now how many attempts are we at the 9 cents mark? Well, look, 1, 2, 3. This is potentially maybe the 4th attempt, or maybe it's the same attempt, maybe it's the 3rd attempt, but there are attempts being made to break through these levels. And I think the same thing, I think again, once we break through the level, we're gonna kind of really push up. Okay, and probably then the next area of interest will be about 17 cents, and we have to see how, if we can get there. In my idea for this expansion, and we have to see how far we expand, but my idea for this expansion is kind of in that region up to there. I'm still thinking that somewhere starting at about 24 cents, but really pushing into the golden pocket, and it just depends on the liquidity, it depends on how much buying there is, it depends on a lot of things. So I think the most bullish scenario would be for us to push right into the golden pocket, yeah, in the next couple of weeks. I'm thinking 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. We're only on the 15th of March, and part of the reason why is because I am looking at a fib time pivot. Now the fib time pivot is a weekly pivot, so there is some give and take. Yeah, 2 more weeks. That was the week of the 25th, so basically the last week of March, potentially just to the end of March. That's what I'm thinking, where you're going to get a major pivot put in, and I'm hoping that this pivot is going to push us right into the golden pocket. We'll see, and I think that's going to be largely dependent on Bitcoin. So I think if Bitcoin finds support, and then kind of does what I'm imagining, which is a really flat, shallow correction. Yeah. And I've got this fractal, which is from the previous correction. If we just have a really nice flat correction, maybe go for the all-time high again, then I don't see why, where this is going to April, who knows. Just to complete our wave 4 for the wave 5, which will be the continuation. That's what I'm thinking with Bitcoin, but right now, and we'll see, because until you lose support lines, I'm not going to get bearish on Bitcoin. The all-time high, the previous all-time high was a big level, but I think you need to get bearish to go up. You can't just go up. Yeah. And as you can see, as the price was going up here, it was exhausting. Like, you made a swing failure how many times, and the price really didn't squeeze up. It just kind of met up. It was all met. So yeah. Now TRVL, when you look at the Bitcoin chart, oh, it's dropped a little bit. There's quite a lot of volume in the last couple of hours coming out of it, but that's acceptable because we're into a major fib level. Look, the 382. I wouldn't like panic in these major levels. I am expecting them to be flipped into support. Yeah. Now, if people are trading, that's fine. You can trade off these major fib levels, and you can kind of earn more TRVL. You can earn more TRVL by doing the arbitrage, like I suggested earlier. But look, that's a really nice volume coming in. This is the 12-hour time frame. Yesterday, last, and look, today. So effectively what's happened is that liquidity is being taken, and then the price will find it a lot easier to go through these levels. And if you look at the 12-hour time frame, you can see the levels almost been tested once, twice, maybe 3 times now. Eventually you can test it 1 or 2 more times, and eventually it will go through. Yeah. Then you're into the wick, and the price will nicely slide up to the next level and maybe back into the value area high of the TRVL against Bitcoin chart. That would be kind of what I'm possibly expecting, but we have to flip. There's a little bit of a flip going on here. Have a look. A little bit of an SR flip going on here, and so naturally the price is going to get a little bit crazy. You see that? It's very messy. It's like here. That's why I've got this yellow line. It's kind of roughly where the flip is. Roughly, it's a rough area. We're coming into it now. Right? And it looks like we've clearly back tested this 236 as support, and now we're just making our way to the next level, which is the 382. Yeah. So that's quite good. I am still in cube. I've only got a small position down. Has it dropped? I'll have a look at it. Yeah, TRVL is the most fun token right now, isn't it? Because everything's crashed and TRVL's kind of held its own. So I think everyone's kind of having fun with TRVL. Look, the TRVL versus ETH is showing a nice strength. Look at that. Very nice strength against ETH right now. What I said before is that when we get back into this down, you see how this price moved down? If we are able to get back above this pivot here, above this little green candle, we'll be able to fill that up really quickly, right up to the highs there. It'll be a really fast move. So I am still expecting continuation. I'm not expecting suddenly the price to go down like that. I don't see it yet.